Today I choose to be big. Today I choose to live out loud. You can say that any minute. The only hurdle you have to get over is perception and how other people will perceive you, because essentially that's why you change. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for all your new subscribes. I'm so excited because we going up, so let's keep it going. But you already know I get straight to the point over here. Now, this video is going to be all about confidence, feeling yourself, authenticity, uniqueness, embracing who you are. Right? So for me, when I used to think about confidence, I used to think like, okay, do I feel like I'm beautiful? Do I feel like I'm pretty enough? Do I feel like when I walk in a room, I can own it? So a lot of what I think, and it may resonate with you too, let me know down below, what I thought confidence was really centered around aesthetics and how I carried myself and the external. But as I've grown and developed into a woman, because now I'm 30 years old, and I started to learn that confidence has to do with who you are. Are you able to feel confident in what you stand for? Are you able to express yourself clearly? Doesn't matter who's there or who's not around. Are you able to be consistent with how you show up for yourself? Those are questions that I think would really help in guiding us to see whether we truly have the esteem within ourselves that we want to have. So for example, number one, in talking about confidence, right? Confidence is all about being unapologetic, right? Let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about some polarizing people. We got, let's say we got Donald Trump, we got Cardi B, we have some really unique personalities, right? However you feel about them, you feel about them, but let's just stay focused on the message. Now, somebody like Cardi B, when she first got started, her teeth didn't look like how they look. She didn't always have her hair done, but yet she showed up. She didn't care. That was all abandoned because in her mind, in her body, in her spirit, her soul, she said, I have something I need to say. I want to be heard. I deserve to press record on the camera. I deserve for people to see me. I deserve for people to really know me. And I deserve to be unapologetic about who I am. Same thing with Donald Trump, right? Like, who is another polarizing personality, but he seems to kind of be pretty disconnected from how people perceive him, right? And so I bring up those two characters and whatever is in your mind about, I guess, polarizing personalities, is that what they all have in common is that they are extremely unique. And when I say unique, it doesn't mean, oh, they're different, or she's trying to be like that, or she dresses different. No, they're completely tapped into who they are. You have some very unique ideals. You have some very unique ways of viewing the world. Some of your qualities and your quirks are really awesome, different, but because it's not the norm, or because it's not something that is generally or socially accepted, you tend to make yourself small, or you tend to kind of cower when it comes to really being who you are, because you're different. You're supposed to be. We're not made to be cookie cutters. We're not. And that's the beauty in children, is that they are just who they are. Kids are funny. They're weird. They're explosive. They are just simply themselves until later on they learn that that's not okay. Be more prim, be more proper. And then when we teach that and we impose our ways onto children, that's when they become more like us. And that's a good thing, right? But really it's not, because I think we're supposed to all be honing our individuality. So the number one and the most ultimate takeaway from this video is that your confidence is about being unapologetic, being authentic, and really cultivating your individuality. Now, many of us have gotten taken away from that, right? Because we're so... And I know for me, like as a little girl, I was so focused on being perfect, like having good grades and making my mom happy, making my dad happy, to where the little girl on me, that little crazy girl that's on the inside of me is still very much alive and well, or was still very much alive and well, but it was difficult for me to express. So then you start to suffer from things like anxiety, or you're trying to always fit in or be right and do the right thing. Now, only when I became a woman, into my womanhood, did I start to understand and start to internalize and start to really learn that we're gonna little Lissy, you still there? That little 6-year-old, that little crazy wild girl who's opinionated, who has a strong sense of justice, who is vocal, who's different, who's quirky, who's weird. That little girl, oh, we got room for you. right? So as I become a woman, that's who I'm trying to get back to. And I think it's an unlearning, right? It's an unlearning to relearn, first of all, who we've always been, who we've been meant to be. This is not your story, whether if you're spiritual, religious, whatever. But I tend to believe your story is generally written. Like, you came out how you're supposed to be, right? So whatever you feel like is wrong with you, or you might have some issues within self, suffer from depression, anxiety, mental health issues. And a lot of that sometimes stems from not, or being very, I should say, very disconnected from who we are. Right? Learning to listen to that voice again, learning to quiet other people, and learning whose voices are in your head. Are those all yours? When you hear certain things, when you hear certain criticisms, when you hear certain ideals and visions and traditions in your mind, are those yours? Where did they come from? So I really want you to sit, and I really want you to convene with your spirit and sit in silence and ask yourself, what am I? Who am I? What is my personality? What are some things that I lost? What are some things I want to regain? Because the beautiful thing about human nature is that we can say, you know what? Yesterday I was inward and I was quiet and I didn't want nobody to hear my voice. But today I choose to be loud and boisterous. Today I choose to be big. Today I choose to live out loud. You can say that any minute. The only hurdle you have to get over is perception, how other people will perceive you, because essentially that's why you changed. That's why when you were that young, rambunctious little boy or little girl, you started to learn, like, okay, no, let me not be that. No, be that. That's who you're supposed to be. That gift was bestowed upon you because you're supposed to live that some way, somehow. Right? Sometimes when you're super hyper as a kid, or you have a lot of energy, it's because you're going to need a lot of energy for whatever your purpose is. Right? So let's not always try to fit and mold into something, because number one, that's boring. Like, who wants to be normal? Who wants to live a normal life? I see normal people and they don't got nothing I want. They don't have a thing that I want. I'm not after that. I'm after authentic. I'm after, like, being my best self. And my best self is being my most authentic self. And my most authentic self is my most confident self. That's where I feel like true confidence comes from. Not from this fake ideal of, I look good, or I walk in and I have my posture right and I'm dressed and my hair is done. Yeah, that helps. Like, let's look the part. Okay, let's look the part. But let's also feel the part, be the part, internalize the part. A lot of people around looking the part, but they're missing the internal glow up that's supposed to precede the look. Right? So I really want us to hone in more on how we can really be who we're supposed to be. And if you're kind of disconnected from yourself, or you've been suffering from anxiety, depression, things of that nature, I want you to really look into yourself and ask yourself, when did that kind of start? What made you start to feel like that? Was it your environment? Was it other people? Was it because you felt like you should be somewhere else that you're not? Was it because you feel like you failed at certain things and you don't have time? Like exactly where is it? What happened? Because you might start to understand, like, wow, I felt like this about myself, but I never used to feel that way as a kid. I was confident. Look back at your pictures, right? Or if you had a really tumultuous childhood, you don't have many pictures and don't have many memories, understand that you were birthed for a reason. You were made the way you were for a precise reason, and you're here to live that out. You were chosen to be here. It could have been someone else, but it's you. You're special. You've been ordained. Just like God, whatever you want to call it, has made the world and made planets and trees. They made a you. Like, do you understand, like, the gravity of what I'm saying? Do you understand how special and unique and needed that you are? And I mean, I'm talking about you, not the you that you pretend to be, not the you that you think is most socially acceptable, but the you that you were, like, intricately crafted to be. That one. Let's tap into that. So they talk about a warm girl summer or a hot girl summer, whatever. Let's let this be a growing girl summer, because let's be very clear. We're going to be outside, okay? Let's be very clear on that. But another thing is, like, let's make sure that growth is preceding all the glitz and the glam and all the hoopla, all that hooting and hollering that they're doing out there, right? Like, let's just make sure that we're tapping into ourselves, because a lot of times that's why we feel stifled in our purpose, why we can't move forward, why we feel less than. It's a confidence thing. And don't ever get it twisted after this video that confidence is about looks, or, it generally comes to how you feel about your true self. And many of us can't tap into the confidence because we don't know our true selves, or we've been disconnected from our true self. So correction, you do know your true self. You know your true self deeply, but you could be so disconnected that you no longer recognize it. Right? So that's your homework. So let me know down below, what are some things that you feel like you can do to get more attuned and get a bit more acquainted with your true self, right? The true self that relies here, that the true self that you were put here to be. Okay, because I really want us to work on those things so that way we can move forward in our life and leave anxiety, leave depression, and be able to truly become confident as we should. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down below if this resonated, and I will see you next time.